Hello aficionados and watch enthusiasts, welcome back to the channel. So it's been a week since Watches and Wonders 2023 has ended. Happy Easter everyone, by the way. And today I'm going to be reviewing all the novelties, not all, but most of the novelties that were presented during the Watches and Wonders. And it's not coming from me as a watch expert, I never claimed to be that, but as a watch enthusiast, I can certainly share some of my very honest opinions. I got my coffee ready. You can mock my coffee, but as a person who never drank coffee in their life, this is as close as it gets to the coffee for me. Also, I have to represent, so today I'm wearing my Rolex GMT Master II on a Jubilee bracelet. Obviously the best timepiece that I have in my collection, so let's get into it. So the first company to release their novelty this year was Czapek, and I'm not going to pretend that I know a lot about this company. They presented this piece called Czapek Antarctic in titanium, obviously, dark sector. Okay, it does have a pretty nice graffiti color dial. It's pretty simple, straightforward. It has integrated bracelet, which is pretty good. It also has an open case back. Dimensions are pretty much okay for what I could wear. 40.5mm and 10.6mm in thickness, which is pretty good. It's very thin, power 0-60 hours, and the price 32,000 Swiss francs. Definitely, like if you're buying something in this price range, you're most probably not going to be purchasing Czapek. I don't doubt their quality or anything like that, but yeah. Alright, let's move on to something a bit more common and what most of you are probably more familiar with. So Tudor released, first and foremost, they released new dials for their 31, 36, 39 and 41mm Black Bay collection. And yeah, here we can see the blue dial. Right here they have, what is it? It is some kind of a, I don't even know what color this is. Something between gray with some, yeah. And obviously this is a champagne dial, mother of pearl. All of them are on Jubilee bracelet. Pretty classic look, I would say. And for the price range of 6,000 euros, that's I would say pretty good entry level timepiece if you're looking for this style of watch. So the next one is their, I would say, trademark timepiece, Black Bay 58. And here they're presenting it only with the red bezel. They also have the one in blue and black as well. But they introduced this new Jubilee bracelet, which only comes on watch with the red bezel for now. Everybody expects that they will be releasing Jubilee bracelet also on other bezel colors. The thing that changed for Black Bay 58, I think they mentioned that they lowered the thickness of the watch. So now it's 14.8, which sounds a bit weird. I would expect it to be even thinner now. But the issue I had with Black Bay 58 was always because it was just too thick for my hand. I'm just not able to wear the watch that has 41 is my upper limit in terms of the case dimensions, but 14.8 in thickness is, I would say, it's still pretty thick. I would have preferred if they went below 14mm, to be honest. Otherwise, the price range is pretty much similar. On rubber strap, Jubilee bracelet and Oyster bracelet, there are a few hundreds of bucks or euros in difference, but if you're looking to purchase entry-level sports watch, very similar to Rolex Submarine, this would be a good way to go. Other than that, they also released their Black Bay 54, and they shrank that one to 37mm in diameter. People will like that. They also introduced this integrated rubber strap, which again reminds of Oyster Flex on Rolexes. And let's see the price range here. Look, it looks very nice on the wrist. I don't know what's the wrist size of this model, but it looks very compact, and I would say that a lot of people will like it. Even for females, this is a great size. These days, women are wearing a bit bigger watches, not like 28s, 8s, 32s and things like that, but like they're more like 36 and even upwards in dimensions. Power reserve 70 hours. I'm not sure if they improved their movement. I guess they did. And the price range, again, around 5,000 euros, which is pretty good for an entry-level sports model. The one that I visually like the most is this one. So Tudor released also their new GMT with a completely white, they call it a wintry dial, completely white polar-like dial with blue and red bezel, and also pretty nice NATO strap. This one has an old movement, and this one is actually a bit thinner than the Black Bay 58, but still not sure if I could pull it off for a bit higher price. But this one still has an older movement, so nothing changed on this one except for some visual changes in terms of dial. And then they also released their new Royal collection, which I'm not a fan of. I'm really not, because I don't know, it just seems a bit outdated to me. Like, this bezel reminds you of a Rolex date just like 20 years ago bezel, and like it's actually very similar to Tissot PRX, right? I think they actually came up with this model before Tissot PRX, so I don't know who copied who, but yeah, just not a fan of this kind of model. All right, here we go. Rolex, we gotta talk about it. The first and foremost, their new Yachtmaster in titanium, and this one looks pretty nice. I saw some live photos on a wrist, so not these kind of computer generated photos, but real ones, and it actually looks very nice. The bezel has this kind of gray shine, and you can see here that the markers and the numbers on the bezel are very polished, so it does give it some classiness to it, some shininess to it. The titanium means that it's probably pretty light, but the case size is 42mm, which is a bit bigger than their usual Yachtmaster, which comes in 40mm. But again, the thickness is pretty good, so could be doable. Movement caliber 32, 35, 70 hours power reserve. The price, 1,900 euros. I'm trying to think if that's reasonable or not for a titanium piece. I mean, it's Rolex, so they can probably pull it off. Let me put it this way. There will be watches that we will be seeing that have a price, similar price, which is totally unreasonable for me. Moving on to the new Rolex Explorer, which now comes in a 40mm case. So what they did first was, previously they discontinued the 39mm case, which everybody loved, and introduced the 36mm case. Now they discontinued the 36mm case to introduce the 40mm case. It's all about marketing, right? So, I have a problem with this watch. If you're a person that wants to wear the most simple watch visually there ever is, then this is the watch for you. Other than that, I really, probably a lot of people will hate me for this, I really don't see the hype around Rolex Explorer. This is like the plainest, the most general watch design that you can ever come up with. I understand that it has a lot of tradition. I understand that the Rolex Explorer 2 has a complication that's actually useful for, you know, hikers and things like that. But Rolex Explorer 1 is the most ordinary watch that you can probably find. So I really don't get the hype around it. It has a black dial. Obviously the quality is there. It's very durable. That's what they pride themselves in. So this is your Rolex Explorer 40mm for the price of 10,000, which I guess is reasonable for a Rolex, right? Moving on. Okay, now we're seeing some colors. They have new Sky Dweller models. They have one in rose gold and this kind of, I don't even know what that dial color is. I mean, you could say it's blue, but it's not really blue because I saw some live shots where under a certain light it gives you some kind of a green shine to it. But I would say with the rose gold bezel and obviously case and bracelet, it's a pretty good combination. They also have this one probably in white gold on an Oyster Flex bracelet, or sorry, the Oyster Flex strap. And then this one is actually a pretty good one and maybe even accessible one, because this is not a white gold, this is an oyster steel, and this is the first time they introduced this mint green dial, which was earlier only available on Datejust, I think. Now they have it also on Sky Dwellers. So I would say, you know, green is now very popular color for watch dials. So I would say a lot of people will like it. Let's see the prices of these watches. So yeah, case dimensions 42mm, 30.8 in thickness. Borderline wearable for me. Never tried Sky Dweller before. Let's see. Yeah, for this mint green oyster steel, 15,000, 16,000 euros probably. Not too bad actually for the type of watch that you're getting. Obviously white gold on Oyster Flex, 40,000. If you're spending that kind of money, you probably want to go with something else. And then this one on Everose gold and blue green dial. Look, that's also how they describe it here. No price yet. That means that it's probably going to be closer to 60-ish, 70-ish, maybe even 80-ish thousand. Okay, let's see. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, GMT. I'm the team GMT. GMT Master II, so they released two new pieces. One is completely yellow gold on a Jubilee bracelet. And then this one is a two-tone with also like yellow gold and oyster steel, but this steel color is not the same color, not the same steel as this one. This one looks a lot darker, which in combination with this yellow gold central links, I think gives it a pretty good look. It's something fresh, something new. I didn't expect that from Rolex, to be honest. The bezel is the same on both watches, so black on the upper side and gray, light gray on the lower side. Pretty good, pretty nice. I like this one very much. The price, let's see, a lot of nice shots here. I also saw this one on some live shots, photos, wrist shots, and it looked pretty good live as well. 40mm 11.9, so that's the standard GMT Master II dimensions, and then 16,000 Swiss francs or euros for Rolex, so two-tone piece, which is not too bad actually. It's reasonable. And then 37k for the full yellow gold. If you are looking for like a full gold watch, then you're probably going to consider that one. And if you're a Rolex fan as well. And now, the highlight of the video, I would say, Rolex Daytonas. So they introduced plenty of new pieces. This one, yellow gold on an oyster flex, rose gold, black dial, platinum with the green, or sorry, baby blue dial, and then the standard panda dial, and then again Rolex or two-tone yellow gold. Daytonas, they have some new things. First of all, you can't understand it from this picture, but if you compare this Daytona with the previous one, you would be able to recognize that this black bezel, for example, here is now put into the case. So it's not bezel on its own, but it's put into the case. And you can see this with this small edge where you can see that it's actually kind of blended into it. Also, crown guards are a bit thicker, and there have been some changes on the circles in the dial, very small ones. So basically, if you're looking at like this, you probably wouldn't be able even to say a difference from the previous model. But if you put them next to each other, then you could see differences. A lot of talk about this platinum piece, and the reason is because it has an open case back. So this is something Rolex really rarely does, and they don't have a picture here, which is a shame. Oh, there it is. So this is the platinum piece, which has an open case back with a gold rotor. Very nice. Not something that Rolex usually does. And from what I heard, they are probably going to be opening the case back on other Daytonas as well. If that happens, it's going to be great, because it's really a shame that watch of Daytona, caliber, doesn't have a visual representation of their movement. So look, Daytona is my grail watch. This is my grail watch. This used to be my grail watch. It still is my grail watch, but obviously I have to move on to something else. I have to start chasing something else, and Daytona is my next grail watch. What I'm currently very interested in is the Rolex version. I like it. I like it more than I liked it a year or two ago. But if money was no object, I would probably go with rose gold case oyster flex piece. That would probably be my favorite one. The next novelty that Rolex presented is Rolex 1908, which is the year that when Rolex was incorporated. So this is where it comes from. They discontinued Cellini, because you will probably say this is Rolex Cellini, but it's not. It's actually their 1908 piece. Rolex Cellini has been discontinued, and this is their new dress version. Rolex is not really famous for their dress watches, but rather for sport watches. And this watch really had a lot of hype. They have multiple pieces. I think they all look awesome. Actually, I also saw some live photos and wrist shots. They look even better in person and live than they do on these generated stock photos. I mean, just look at this video.
But they're also pretty skilled watchmakers.
This is amazing.
The Cellini line is...
This is amazing. It's not even a black version. Obviously, it also has a open case back. It's not even black dial. It's more like a, grayish, kind of pastel gray kind of dial. Beautiful. Absolutely great. If you're a Rolex fan and you're looking for a dress watch, this is for you. But let's see if the price justifies it. 31,000. So I think that's going to come 22,000 euros for yellow gold, and pretty much the same 23, 24 for white gold version, which is a shame because visually it's very hard to see the difference between the stainless steel and white gold, and the price difference is just too big. Anyway, I think Rolex hit it out of the park with this one. This is something I don't think they hit out of the park. So this is their new Oyster Perpetual. So lately Rolex has had this kind of ambition to attempt to do some fun things with their Oyster Perpetual line. You remember last time they introduced a whole bunch of different dial colors, which then they also had like a Tiffany color dial that on a gray market went, I don't know, 10 times up in price, which was completely ridiculous. So now they're introducing this with the bubbly dial, a lot of colors. I don't know. I would not wear this watch. This is probably for some collectors that already have 10 watches in their collection, 10 Rolex watches in their collection, and they just want to add this piece because this one will likely be discontinued a year from now, and yeah, they're just trying to do something fun with it. Not a fan. The price range is where it usually is with Oyster Perpetuals. And then also they introduced their new day dates with a lot of different dials. So I can understand, you see the lower row of these watches, this kind of orange dial, green dial, and light baby blue dial. This is something that you could expect from their day dates. However, this upper row, these puzzle dials with kind of hippie date wheel with heart and all the messages of love and things like that. Look, this is completely ridiculous if you ask me. So day dates are actually called presidential watches because a lot of presidents wear them. Can you imagine a president of any country wearing this watch? I can't. Panerai. Panerai introduced this Radiomir California with the wabi case. Wabi case means something that looks kind of used. This one definitely does. I'm not a fan of it. It looks like a really kind of heavy steel type of, watch. But what I like about this is this dial color, which is very nice. Still very, very big. I mean, Panerais are generally big watches, 45 millimeter, 48 probably with a crown, and then 12.5 millimeter in thickness, which is not too thick actually. And the price 12,500 euros, which you can argue that is okay, but for this kind of watch, not so much for me. Then they introduced the Radiomir annual calendar. I like the dial on this one. like this red with the radiant moving outwards to the bezel. Obviously with the annual calendar where you can see the date, the day, and the month, and the small seconds. Same in the size. 40,000 euros in steel and 90,000 euros in gold. That's just too much. In my opinion, that's too much for Panerai. And then they introduced this one, which is the piece that I like the most out of their novelties. Panerai Radiomer 40 Gold Tech. I like this rose gold case. Rose gold is a thing now. Trust me. A lot of manufacturers have introduced a lot of timepieces with rose gold. And I'm very fond of it as well. This one does have a very, very simple off-white, I would call it, off-white dial with small seconds in the date window, open case back. And what's good is this one is more approachable for my wrist. It's 40 millimeter in diameter, which is great. It doesn't say what thickness it is, but I would assume that it's around 12, same as their other radiomers. However, the price is, wow, 18.5 thousand euros. For rose gold case, that's not even too bad, actually. That's not even too bad. I would like to try this one on. I would. Looks like a very nice dress watch. If you're looking for something that's like very Panerai-like in case, very recognizable. And if you're a Panerai fan, you want a dress watch, this is a good option. And then this is also their Otto Giorni. It's also a Wabi case. This one on a blue dial. And here we can also see a very nice lume that it has. But the size of the case is just a lot. Price pretty approachable, 9,000 euros. Moving on to Cartier. Cartier. Let's see, what do they have new? Cartier Privé Tank Normal Collection Hours, the OG. Okay. Really, nothing I would say that kind of blows my mind, to be honest. Yeah. Next, they have new Cartier Santos Dumont. This is skeleton version, so completely a see-through case, which looks nice. Can't say, it does look nice. Probably looks even nicer live. 31 millimeter diameter, lug to lug 43.5. It's pretty reasonable, no price. Okay, so this is the one that I like the most out of the new Cartier line. It's their Santos de Cartier with this green dial, obviously. The green is in, the green is hip. Everybody needs a green dial watch. They call this one a smoky green. Has a pretty nice radiant, depends on the light, but it's pretty nice. 39, yeah, almost 40 millimeter in diameter. Also have one in large size and one in a medium size. I would probably prefer the one in a medium size because, yeah, it's probably like more elegant. The price, that's totally reasonable. 6,500 euros for a medium size. That's actually very reasonable. What do you guys think? Power reserve 42 hours. These days you get 72 easily. So I think they need to improve their movement a little bit. But other than that, like visually, this is a very nice piece. Let's move on. Okay, Chopard. I'm pretty big fan of Chopard watches. I like their timepieces. I like their designs. So this is the new Chopard Alpine Eagle 41 XPS. It reminds me of a watch that's been very hyped during these years, Watches and Wonders, which we will see a bit later, and I like the Chopard better. This one has this salmon dial. Salmon dial is also kind of getting trendy lately. Other than that, the dimensions are great for this watch. 41mm in case size, 8mm in thickness. That's a thin watch. That's so thin. Yeah, they call this dial rose gold. Alright, I can go with that. Price not available, not yet. That's a shame. I'm really interested to know what the price of this watch is. If this is a reasonable priced watch, then it's a steal. It could be a steal. 65 hours power reserve, yeah, it's very nice. Very nice. I love this dial. This is such a great dial. Wow. Case, it does have some similarity to Patek Nautilus, right? With these kind of, they're not crown guards, but are these pushers? No, they're not, because it doesn't have any complications. Yeah, still very nice, very nice. Moving on. Wow, this Chopard is something, right? This is for royalty. I'm not even gonna comment on that one. I have no idea what's going on here. Too many pearls. Come on now, rose gold. Yeah, let's skip this one. Grand Seiko. Alright, a lot of Grand Seiko fans, but also a lot of people that don't really like them. They think like they are Seikos, right? They're not Seikos, they're Grand Seikos. They have like incredible finishing, they have incredible movement, they have incredible dials. And they're also increasing in price. So one can argue like, is it really worth it? So this one is called Grand Seiko SBG Z009. Would love it if it had some better nickname. So a lot of going on here. What I don't like about it is that I like this dial, but I don't like that the case has the same pattern. It's almost like the same thing. I like the distinction between the bezel or the case and the dial. This one doesn't have it. It's the same thing, which is obviously what they went for, but I'm not digging it. And I'm sure it has, like, I mean, look at the level of detail here. It's incredible. It almost looks like it's been handmade, like all these, lines, and it could be that they're all piece uniques, that they all have like not the same pattern. In terms of the case, dial probably has the same pattern because it's probably machine made. But yeah, I don't know, just a bit too much for me. The price, what? So this is what I've been saying. The price of this watch is completely unacceptable if you ask me. Yeah, I understand it's platinum, but 80,000 euros, or that would be 75,000 euros. Yeah, it's gonna be limited to only 50 pieces. It's probably gonna be piece unique, right? Let's see something more approachable. Their new Grand Seiko Tentograph. So what's so special about Tentograph? It has 10 beats per second, 3 days, automatic chronograph. Yeah, so see this bezel? So this is what Rolex Daytona earlier had. Now this bezel is not like a standalone bezel, it's like blend into the case. Open case back, nothing too special really for me. 43.2, 15.3 in thickness. That watch is way too big for me. And the price, 12,000 euros. I would not purchase it. And then this one again, with diamonds and sapphires. It's probably very, very blingy. Yeah, moving on. IWC, here we go. So first of all, they introduced their new pilot line. So on the left, we have yellow gold case with emerald green dial and rubber strap. Pretty nice. These two in the middle are Top Gun versions, both in ceramic case. This one black ceramic, this one blue ceramic, and this one has like a strap. It's not a rubber strap, but it's like more like a NATO, is it? Stitched on the outside. And then this one is in white gold, also the emerald green. They look very nice. Their size or their dimensions are different, even though they on the picture they look the same, but they're different. So the chronograph 41, that would be the one on the left, the gold one, is 41.5 millimeter in diameter size, which is acceptable for my kind of wrist, but the price is probably not acceptable. And then the very similar dimensions for the Top Gun, so the two ones in the middle, even though they are a bit thicker than this yellow gold one, probably too thick for me. And then the one on the right, perpetual calendar with white gold, is obviously a perpetual calendar, so it has to be a bigger movement, so it has to be a bigger case size. The price range, so yeah, the Top Gun, so the black version, that's around what, 7,000-8,000 euros, not too shabby. This would be around 10 for the blue Top Gun, and then this chrono on yellow gold, that would be 20k. And then perpetual calendar, that's around 35k euros. And now the watch that everybody has been talking about. So IWC reintroduced their engineer model. I don't even remember when it was discontinued. I wasn't into watches back then. That was probably like 10-15 years ago. I mean, it was designed by Gerald Genta in 76. So Gerald Genta is a guy, probably the most significant person in watch history. He designed Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. He designed Patek Nautilus. He designed this one, which I'm sure, and plenty of other very famous designs. And this one, I'm sure back in the day was, beautiful designed watch. So they reintroduced it. They introduced it with 3 new dials. White dialed, or this is like a off-white dial. Black and this green one. One thing I do like about this piece is this green dial. I think it's very nice. And also saw some live photos. It looks even better on those than here. Other than that, this timepiece looks like, to be honest, it looks like a beater watch. Like, Maybe I like something more fancier. I don't see why this would cost 12,000 euros, which is the cost for the stainless steel version. They also have one in titanium, which is around 15k. The dimensions 40 millimeter, fine. 10.8 in thickness, really important, so fine. Movement obviously improved. 120 hours of power reserve, that's 5 days of power reserve. That's great. Respect. But other than that, the design of this watch, I don't know, it just feels like a, everyday beater watch. Looks like it, like in my opinion. I don't see the hype behind it. It also seems like these center links are polished or not. It's very difficult to figure it out on these photos. But anyway, I don't even know what to say about this watch anymore. I don't know what to speak about it. I'm not a watch expert, just pointing out what I'm seeing. Next one, Jaeger LeCoultre. I'm a huge fan of Jaeger. So they introduced this Reverso Tribute Small Seconds. Impacts from oversize, right? This one is, I don't know if it's yellow gold or a bit more like pink gold, but very nice, very nice. I like it. As a dress watch, this is something that's very recognizable. The rectangular, yeah, it's a pink gold, but obviously, as you would expect it, the price range, that's around 20,000 euros. That's a significant price, but maybe for a rose gold case, not even that much. And then their usual Jaeger Reverso Tribute chronograph, pretty nice because it does have like a chronograph other side of the case, right? Because Reverso you can switch them. So the first face with this blue dial is just a simple time telling piece, and then this one on the back side is actually a chronograph, which looks very busy, to be honest. And it does have some kind of see-through case, and you can see some parts of the movement here, so it's pretty attractive, I would say. They also have one in gold, but this one is probably out of price. Yeah, that would be around 37,000 euros. Oh, hello Kermit. This is what Oris introduced. Oris introduced their Pro Pilot X Kermit edition. This is the only watch they introduced on Watches and Wonders. Earlier this year, I think they introduced the Pro Pilot in sort of a turquoise Tiffany dial, the new one with the new movement, which looks pretty impressive, but it's also double the price of their previous Pro Pilot version. So not sure like if that really justifies it. Yeah, this is their new Pro Pilot Excalibur 400. Look, this kind of a lime dial, it's fun, and it's, look, the Kermit on the date wheel, that's a nice touch. I have to say, that's a nice touch. This one is also on titanium, and what I like about this is this bracelet. It looks like very like futuristic, I would say, even though like this is not like the first similar bracelet that you're seeing here that has like a that's integrated into case and things like that, but it on hand it does look very futuristic. Obviously their new movement has a 5-day power reserve, which is great. It's 39 millimeter in case size, titanium, like I said, so it's probably very light. 4,400 Swiss francs or euros. It's okay. I mean, for something that might become collectible, it could be a good investment. All right, so Tag Heuer, they released a lot of new watches, and people are speaking very positively of them. First of all, they released their Tag Heuer Carrera glass box chronograph, which celebrates 60th anniversary of Carrera. And we have one in a black dial and one in a blue dial. What I like about it is, first of all, yeah, it's called glass box. So, but why is it called that? It's actually explained on a dial. Like, you see the tachometer? It's actually part of the dial, but it's on a relief, and it's all under the glass. It's all under the dome. So it looks pretty cool. And then the other thing about it is the strap looks kind of simple on this blue one. It's probably a strap monster. I mean, you can probably combine different kind of straps on this one to make it look great as well. This one is on the black dial is a bit different, but then the movement is refreshed, and yeah, difference in finishing, blah blah blah. Let's see what's the power reserve. 80 hours, okay, and then 39 millimeter in diameter, the case size, which is great. This is what everybody wants to see. It's probably wearable for everyone. It's gonna be available as of April, so right now, and the price is actually pretty acceptable. This is around 5,500 euros. You could do worse for that kind of money. You could. Next, they introduced their Sporty Carrera chronograph. This one, a lot of color variety. Blue dial with, red markers, and then orange markers, and then white markers. So very kind of fun and playful dial, I would say. Obviously a sporty look. And this one obviously has a bigger case size at 42. I would prefer the glass box one, even though this one is a bit cheaper. That one comes around 4,500 euros. So yeah. And then they also reintroduced their Carrera date. So look, this is basically Omega C Master Aquaterra with different dial colors, or Rolex Oyster Perpetual, even a year plus ago. So they have these three new dial versions here. This one pink, blue, and green. Okay, they also have this one in silver with gold hands and markers. It looks nice. I mean, I can't say anything against it. It looks nice, but like, I would rather go with Omega C Master Aquaterra, to be honest. Case 36 millimeter, so probably very dressy watch. It's caliber 7, so it's ETA based movement. 56 hours power reserve, so could be better, but like very affordable, like 2,500 euros. That's very affordable. Very entry kind of level. And then they also introduced this Carrera Tourbillon version chronograph, obviously. So this is the Tourbillon. It's also like this kind of glass box type of thing. And then, yeah, 42 mil. Obviously, it's Tourbillon, so the price is 20,000 euros. For Tourbillon, that's maybe not even too pricey. If you're really looking for a Tourbillon watch, this could be one of the more affordable ones. Wow, and then what they did here, they call it Tag Heuer Carrera Plasma Diamant d'Avant-Garde Chronograph Tourbillon. So this has a lot of diamonds, right? Look at this. But they're all kind of integrated into the case and the bracelet. here, like with this zoomed photo, it looks kind of nice, but I don't know how it looks in person. Yeah, I don't have an opinion. Obviously the price, with this kind of price, I don't need to have any opinion on it. And then they also introduced their new Aquaracer in different case dimensions, some with steel case and gold bezel, and some with fully gold case and bezel, both in yellow gold and rose gold versions. I would probably like this rose gold one. So these ones would be probably 40 mil, and these ones would be 34 mil maybe. Millimeter in size. Yeah, I like this one the most. It has a pretty good looking rubber bracelet, very sporty watch. I don't know, I would like to see it in person. Looks pretty good. 15,000 euros, maybe even less, 14. Yeah, for that kind of money you can probably buy something a bit better. So yeah, the smaller ones are 30 millimeter. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Hublot. Does anybody even want to go through Hublots? All right, let's do it quickly. Hublot Classic Fusion Chronograph Orlinsky, multi-phased, microblasted in titanium. All right, a lot of going on in this case. Look at all these edges. They're still not able to make these rivets even. Look at them, they go in all directions. Terrible. Someone in OCD hates that. 41 millimeter dimension, yeah. 13,000 euros on a rubber strap. This Hublot MP13 Tourbillon, retrograde, bi-retrograde. I'm not qualified to comment Hublot. And then this one, it's a carbon, ultralight. Well, obviously carbon is very light. Tourbillon, integrated bracelet. I wonder what the price is of the carbon. Wow. 120,000 euros. All right. Next one is Speake-Marin, a Swiss-based company. To be honest, I'm not very familiar with them, so I'm not gonna pretend like I know what I'm talking about here. I can only talk from the visual perspective for what I like. So obviously this has resemblance of Patek Aquanaut. The dial is what I would like to comment on. So they call this a jeans dial, obviously, for obvious reasons. And it has a small seconds right here on the upper right corner. And to me, it just seems a bit out of place. It seems odd. It seems like, you know, you just put it somewhere. I would like it to be kind of more, you know, to have like a better place on the dial, somewhere in the middle or centered, somewhere centered, let's put it that way. Yeah, not doing it for me. What was the price? 23,000 euros. No. And then Zenith is also a company that I like a lot. So they have this new Defy Revival Shadow, they call it. Super Spy profile, because it's kind of a stealth color. I actually like their Defy version, a previous version, better than this one, to be honest. This one has a pretty acceptable case dimensions, 37 millimeter, which is rather small, but 13.6 in thickness, so that probably compensates for smaller case size. Movement Elite 6700 automatic, 50 hours power reserve, 7,400 euros or Swiss francs. Price, you could do better for that kind of money, actually. So yeah, kind of disappointed with this one. I expected a bit more from Zenith, to be honest. And they also have this Defy Skyline in black ceramic model. This one does look a bit better than the Spy one. And then this one on a rubber strap. This one is bigger in size than the Spy one, 41mm, but also thinner, 11.6mm in thickness. So that's probably a big difference between the two, right? And then 15,000 euros or Swiss francs. And then they also introduced their new Pilot flyback. Flyback is actually a complication I think Zenith invented in the first place. Looks pretty simple. Very big dial markers, numbers actually. And then this one in a steel. See-through case back. 40mm in diameter. Pretty nice. 60 hours power reserve. So 7,500 euros for steel version and 9,500 euros for this ceramic version. That's about the Zenith price range. Let's move on to some brands that are more accessible to the people, because a lot of these watches are, from the price standpoint, they're just unreasonable or unacceptable for a common person. Alpina is actually a watch brand that has a pretty big historical significance. They've been around for 130 years actually. They're a Swiss company, and they introduced their new Alpine model in multiple different dials. So this one is like turquoise dial. Then they also have one in black, or this looks more like gray. It also has a see-through case back. 41mm in diameter, 11.5 in thickness, which is reasonable. 38 hours power reserve, so it's a Salida based movement, so that's why it's not not too pricey. It's under 2,000 euros, right? But if you're looking for something like very sporty and something that has this kind of Royal Oak meets Aquanaut case, for that kind of money, I would say that that's reasonably priced for an entry-level luxury timepiece. Moving on to the brand that I really like, and I've come to like them a lot recently, Baume Mercier. So they introduced their Riviera in 39mm case size. That would be the one on the right, which I like a lot. They used to be, I think, 42mm, which is a bit too much considering their also the case thickness. Or they used to be 43 even, some of them. So now they have like the 39, but look at this dial. Deep blue dial, that's like amazing. And you can actually, it's kind of a bit of a, it's a bit transparent, so you can actually see the date rotor. That's very nice. It's very nice. Also has this kind of Royal Oak resemblance a bit, so, but yeah, the movement is great. Look at this. This is just great. This is actually the gold markers, the gold hour hands and minute hands and second hands. It's very nice. So yeah, 39mm in diameter, 10.2mm in thickness. Gray one is probably my favorite. I saw the price on their website. It's going to be around 4,500 euros. For that kind of money, you're getting a lot of watch. You're getting a great movement, which has a 5-day power reserve, their in-house Baumatic caliber, which is amazing. You have a very nice, amazing dial actually. You have a very nice case with rose gold, I would say, components, if you will. And then probably very good rubber bracelet or steel bracelet, whichever one you like. Yeah, it doesn't say the price here, but I think it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing watch. If you're looking for a Royal Oak that you can't afford, this is your watch. Baume Mercier Riviera Azur. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Also, they released their new Hampton line, which again, if you can't afford Jaeger LeCoultre Reverso, you can afford Baume Mercier Hampton. Rectangular. Look at this. This dial is actually it's actually, for me, it's nicer than the blue dial of a new Reverso. Has a bit more detail. It actually has like two rectangulars, right? This looks like a sand kind of blue dial, and then this one is a totally different combination. Look at this. This is amazing. Look at this sand dial. That's great. So yeah, the price, wow, look at this. Between 2 and 3,000 euros for this watch. That's amazing. It doesn't have their Baumatic movement of 5-day power reserve, so it's only 38 hours, but still good, pretty good for this price. All right, so Bvlgari, they released their new Octa line. Look, if you're looking for this type of watch that resembles Royal Oak, you're going with Baume Mercier Riviera. And that's it. Like, you can like this one. I think it's fine. But I would go with Riviera. This one's also a bit bigger, 41 millimeter. It's thin, to be honest, it is. But for this price, look, this is 8,000 euros. 8,000 euros. You're getting Riviera for almost half of that price. It's a no-brainer for me. This is nice, but Riviera for me is much better. Doxa, also a very affordable timepiece. They are introducing their new Submariner. You know, Doxa, they're famous for their very vivid colors in dials and the bezels. So I think they have this white one, black one, orange one, and the blue one. This orange one, interestingly enough, it doesn't have the same orange bezel as their previous versions. Look at this yellow one, and then this Tiffany blue one. Yeah, they're just playful. That's what Doxa is. A lot of people like them. A lot of people, they are very affordable beater diver watches, if you will. So you can't go wrong with it. 42 millimeter in case size, not for my wrist. Almost 16 millimeter in thickness. That's a huge watch. That's a thick diver watch. For 2,500 euros, if you want a beater, go for it. Frederique Constant. So Frederique Constant is a brand that a lot of people think like they want to be Patek Philippe. So they are kind of copying them all the time. They are like a, poor man's Patek. In recent years, I think they gained some respect, to be honest, because they are coming up with a really nice dials, really kind of better finishing and better movements altogether. So, but that also is reflecting on their prices. This one is constant high life sparkling, obviously some kind of mother of pearl dial and bezel. I would not purchase it. I think it's more like a female watch. Yeah, 34 millimeter. Let's see what else they introduced. Okay, this one is much nicer. Obviously it has a tourbillon. This is probably a rose gold case. Looks pretty nice, but look, I didn't even see the price, but I bet it's overpriced. 39mm in case size, 11mm thickness, great dimensions. 38 hours power reserve, could be better, but then look, $24,000 or probably euros as well. You're not buying that Frederique Constant for that kind of money. We've seen rose gold, like Panerai, that rose gold Panerai, you would want to go for that if you are looking for that kind of dress watch. And then, all right, so next couple of brands are what everybody wants to talk about, but only under 1% of people can actually afford them or will ever be able to afford them. But since we're here, let's just go through them. A.Lange Sohne, very good brand. I personally like them too. So they have this Oris chronograph, which has a lot of complications. And I've seen the complications. I've seen it on a video and it looks pretty impressive. The complications do. So yeah, otherwise, I can't actually say that it's so pretty. Because it's not. And I don't like the bracelet. I don't like it at all. Even if I could afford it, I would not be buying it. It's also too big for my wrist. Almost 43mm, 14.2 thickness. Price is not available, but I bet is upwards of 60,000. Parmigiani is another brand that I admire. I think they're building amazing watches. So they have their new Florier, and this has their new Tonda Minute Rattrapante. So this one has a pretty innovative complication for the minutes and actually measuring certain time periods or cycles. I'm not even going to bother explaining how it works because I don't know. I mean, I've seen the video, so I suggest you also see the video of how it works if you're interested. It's very innovative and it's very impressive. But from the visual standpoint, the watch is great. 40mm diameter, 11mm thickness, nice. You would probably expect a bit better power reserve than 48 hours, and then it's 28,000 euros. Parmigiani is a very expensive brand. They also released their new Tourbillon version, also very nice. 150,000 euros. And then this is the one that I like the most. New calendar trio of Chali, Hijri, and Gregorian calendar. I probably mispronounced that, so I apologize to everyone. I like them all actually. They look very nice. Yeah. Obviously it has a complete calendar. Dimensions, yeah, it doesn't have price yet, but they look very nice. And then this one, a very basic one, and this one actually very basic one, just with the date, window, open case back, but as basic as it looks like, it's in platinum, so the price is 85,000 euros. Can they make just something in steel? And obviously this one in gold. This is absolutely beautiful. So I'm a sucker for rose gold now. And this looks amazing. This doesn't even have a date window. It's actually GMT. Wonder how it works because it's like very... Yeah, this probably has just 2 time zones that you can track. Probably very simple. 58,000 euros for your rose gold edition with this beautiful blue dial. Amazing and expensive. And moving on to Patek Philippe, let's see what they brought us. Patek Philippe introduces Calatrava 24-hour dial. All right. It looks nice. Obviously, rose gold case, 57,000 euros. Look, I like the watch. The watch looks great. Is the price realistic? Yeah, it's Patek, it's rose gold, it's amazing movement, it's amazing dial. Still, that kind of money. You can buy two great watches for that kind of money. Not great, amazing watches. Look at this dial. This is their new minute repeater version, and this is also like some sort of like a tile dial color. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Seiko cocktail dial, right? So is Patek copying Seiko cocktail dial? Google Seiko cocktail presage. So, but otherwise, also very nice watch. Gram complications, white gold, price not available yet. All right, their new Aquanaut. I like this one too. I like the one with the chocolate dial. I like the one with this pastel blue dial. They all come with the matching rubber straps. I don't like the one with diamond bezel a lot. It's too flashy, in my opinion. But these ones are pretty nice. Look at this chocolate dial, very nice. And that's, I think, yellow gold. No, it's rose gold. Okay, $75,000, and then the one with the diamond bezel, 53. What? That one is smaller. Yeah, because the one is 40. The one without is 42 millimeter in case size. This one is 38. And it doesn't have. It only has a date complication, while these two also have. So this one is a annual calendar with the moon phase. Very nice, very nice, very nice. And this one is all only small seconds. Cool stuff. And then their new grand complications. So see this? Do we have a closer? Yeah. So look at this dial. It also has this see-through dial. Where did we see that? On a new Riviera. Baume Mercier Riviera. It has this same type of dial with see-through, where you can actually see the rotor and a little bit of a movement. Pretty cool from Patek, but pretty cool from Baume Mercier. Amazing level of detail. Maybe a bit too busy actually for me, for my taste, but nonetheless, amazing level of detail. You would expect this watch to be huge, but it's actually not. Only 40.2 millimeter in dial, 30.2 millimeter in thickness. Price not available. They have some new Calatravas with different color variations, or colorways if you will. So one with yellow notes, blue notes, and red notes, or dial markers and second hands. What do I think of it? To be honest, I think it's okay, but not more than that. Actually, those colors remind me, look at this watch. It actually reminds me a bit of a Cartier Roadster Casino dial, if you remember. I don't know. It's okay, but for this price, I would not buy it. That's because it's in white gold, obviously. Why not? Why not make it in steel and make it more accessible to regular person? Because it's Patek. And then this piece of art is just amazing. Another grand complications. God knows how many complications this has. It's a tribute to their Geneva home. This art, that's amazing level of detail. I can only imagine how it looks in person, live. Beautiful piece. Again, not too huge, Patek Grand Complications, like when you see them on the photos like this, they look like 45 millimeter in size, but they're not. They're 40. Look at this, 40 and 11.5 in thickness. Obviously also in white gold, price not available. All right, moving on to our next Ulysse Nardin Freak 1. Looks very futuristic, totally Ulysse Nardin kind of dial and hands. Look at these hands. This looks so fun. I can't comment on this one. I'm not qualified. 44 millimeter in the dimensions, probably too big for me. 68,000. And then our last but not least company or brand we're gonna review, Vacheron Constantin. So they introduced their new version of overseas with a smaller dial. So they're actually introducing a 34 millimeter case, which is good because their earlier version was 42, I think, or 43 even millimeter in case size. Too big for the wrist size that I have, but again, 34 is a bit too small. Sorry, it's not actually 34, it's 35. It's 35. I think it's a bit too small. If they could make one 38, 39 to 40, that would be amazing. Even though, look, this doesn't wear too small, but it is a bit. It is a bit. You would want it to be 2 to 3 millimeters wider, probably. Yeah, I love their rose gold version. Look, they also have, like, you can probably change like from the bracelet to this integrated strap. Amazing. Amazing. Pricing and availability. Yeah, all right. So case dimensions for some are 34.5, for some 35. It's very thin watch, under 10 millimeter in thickness. 40 hours power reserve. You would expect better from Vacheron, wouldn't you? The price range from 26,000 euros to 64,000 euros. So if you're going with a simple steel case, it's gonna be pricey. If you're going for the gold 57, that's more than double. Reasonable or not? Look, it's Vacheron. It's top 3. Then obviously they introduced their new overseas with the moon phase complication. This one is 41 millimeter in size, in case size. Also comes with this. I can't even say that. That's probably some sort of a leather bracelet. And then here on the right we can see also rubber bracelet as an option. The price $48,000 or euros. Amazing watch, but yeah, very pricey. And then they have their new traditional line timepiece, obviously with tourbillon and open case. It's almost like a see-through. You can see some parts of the movement from the front face. This one is in a rose gold case. Looks amazing on the wrist. 41 millimeter in size. $200,000 or euros, sorry. So this is probably the most expensive watch we've seen today, from the ones that we saw and the ones that had a price tag. And then the final watch I'm gonna be showing you today and commenting, and obviously day date. Pretty nice. You can see you don't even need like a hidden rotor inside the movement. Everything is presented on the dial. Salmon color goes great with this blue leather strap. Very dressy watch. Amazing. Amazing. Look at this. I like it. Who wouldn't like this? This wrist shot, it kind of sticks out a bit, but I doubt it's thick watch. No, it's just, the case size is 42.5 millimeter. that would be around 1.5 millimeter than I would like it to be. But if you are 70,000 euros, if you're looking for a dress watch, amazing dress watch, amazing value for money, I suggest you go to Baume Mercier Clifton. They have a variation in blue dial, red dial, and green dial. They also have a variation with more complications, with moon phase, and I think also a day date version. So, but they are like 7 to 10,000 euros, depending on the case, if you're going with steel or gold. But value for money is definitely the best there. Anyway, we've come to an end of this year's review of Watches and Wonders novelties. I think that all things combined, we got some pretty good pieces. Some brands didn't introduce their watches. For example, Omega, Rado, and some other brands that are part of the Swatch group, Audemars Piguet also. So we didn't see everything, but from what was introduced, I think I covered most of them. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you again on the next one. Cheers, bye. Hey you, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you soon.